I am Violeta. I'm a digital adoption manager for live events in EMEA. And today I'm joined by Christian, who will be actually your presenter for this session. Speaking about agenda, we will start with showing you how to kick off your reservation request in LiveLabs platform. Then Christy will present an overview of OCI. Then the demo part will follow, so you will have the opportunity to play together with Christian some labs exercises. For today, we prepared 5. And then we are going to close up with the useful resources part, and of course survey and Q&A. Okay, let me show you now, before I hand over to Christian, I would like to show you how to actually reserve your workshop place in LiveLabs. So you will need to open the link that we've just shared with you. For today, you have 2 options to log in. You can either choose your own tenancy, or you can reserve a place in LiveLabs tenancy. The differences between these 2 options is that if you choose first one, like in your own tenancy, you will have the option to save everything you do today. For the LiveLabs one, everything will be destroyed after the workshop will end. Okay, so if you choose the LiveLabs option, then you need to consent to LiveLabs terms and conditions, and of course to submit your reservation request. Then you'll have the option to see, to check your reservation, and you will be notified via email also about the status. The environment will be created on the go, so it will take around 1 minute or so to be ready. Then you will see the launch workshop button, and of course all the details for you to log into the cloud console. You'll need to copy the initial password and to select the username. That's very important. And of course, to sign in order for you to do that, you need to have an Oracle account created. And of course, add the initial password, change it to the new one, and then you will be prompted to the OCI console. All right, that would be all from my side. Christy, over to you now.
All right, hi everyone. Thank you, Violeta.
You're welcome.
Okay, let me share the screen first. All right, so can you see the screen?
Yes, all good, all good.
Perfect. Hope everyone did register and reserve the workshop or sign in their own on their own tenancy. So we will follow later the labs that we have prepared for you today. First, let's start with some key concepts and terminology that we're gonna use today, and we're gonna find out more about. Firstly, we will start with the regions and ability domains. We will see on the next slide how the regions are situated for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Basically, the region is a localized geographical area, and here we have this ability domain, which is a new concept. Let me also, anyway. So the ability domains is it will be like 1 or more data centers that are located in these regions. They are isolated from each other. They have their own infrastructure, their own hardware, and being isolated from each other and fault tolerant, it is very, very unlikely to fail in the same time. So because they do not share the infrastructure such as power or cooling, or like the internal ability domain network, a failure at one of these ADs within a region is very unlikely to impact the availability of the others within the same regions. We also have within this availability domain, what we call the physical network, which is not an oversubscribed network. We don't have any noisy neighbors, let's say. It is a very high scale network. We have over 1 million network ports in an AD and low latency between the hosts within that. There is also for the regions that have only one of those data centers, there is an option for each of them. You have a grouping of hardware and infrastructure, which is called a fault domain, and each of those ADs have 3 fault domains. They will provide basically anti-affinity, meaning that they will let you distribute your instances so that the instances will not be on the same physical hardware within that single AD. In other words, in case of big natural disasters, unplanned outages, tsunamis, earthquakes, and so on, or other political incidents, you'll be covered in terms of hardware. Therefore, the availability, the SLA availability is close to 100%. I believe it's 99.955 or something like that. Then we have the tenancy. This will be your environment, your little piece of Oracle Cloud, where you sorry, where you create this environment for your company, which is a secure and isolated partition within our cloud, where you'll be able to create, and organize your own cloud resources, your own projects, and various, test environments and so on. It's up to you how you use the cloud resources. Of course, there's a share model responsibility within the Oracle Cloud, where customer has responsibility to not share the password and something like that, whereas the vendor Oracle will have responsibility to maintain the security and encrypt the transport and all that throughout the whole experience within cloud and with us, of course. We have then the compartment, which is a very cool component. This is used in order to allow you to organize and control the access to your cloud resources. Basically, by definition, is a logical construct that will help you segregate really well between the components, between the resources that you create in our environment. If you have multiple departments, multiple teams or projects, you'll be able to have like a very granular way to organize and give access to various resources, or have various permissions for each of them. So we can filter really well in terms of permission. Then you have this unique identifier for each resource in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, which is called the OCID, or Oracle Cloud Identifier. This is very simple. You can use, for example, 2 compute instances with the same name, but they will not be the same. So it will let you to have the same name, but you will never, have the same identifier for each of them. That's why it is unique, and it is also immutable. Okay, let's move on. We have here the map of all the regions that are live at this moment. We have 37 regions, and we are still planning for more. We are adding multiple cloud regions around the world to provide local access to cloud resources for our customers, and in order to provide them with the best latency when connecting to Oracle Cloud, and when connecting their on-premise to Oracle Cloud and other scenarios. We also have government regions that are available for the government side, let's say. And on some of those regions, we have this partnership That's why you see the logo from Microsoft. We have this partnership with Microsoft, and we have this cool feature, this cool, let's say, like a platform. It is called Microsoft Interconnect Azure, meaning that if you have an Azure account and an OCI account, you'll benefit from both of those vendors on that region, meaning that you'll be able to deploy and develop applications on the same data center, on the same platform, which can help a lot in some scenarios. So basically, you'll have the best of both worlds. All right, moving on. This will be the last slide, and then we will switch to the console, to the demo. This is like a very brief overview of our services. Here we have the categories of services that you will encounter in Oracle Cloud. We have high performance servers, we have storage and database that can support millions of IO and transactions, which can scale up and down based on your needs. So we could take a quick look on the services here in the console as well. But I would propose to move on and sign into the tenancy or launch the LiveLabs workshop. I'm not sure, Violeta, do we have any polls here?
Yes, we do have. So let's check if all of us have an Oracle account and if requested the workshop reservation. So I will launch it as we speak. So guys, let us know if you have an Oracle account created already and if you were able to request your Oracle reservation in LiveLabs. So I will leave you a few seconds to provide your answers, and then we will continue. So I see some of you did, some of you didn't do it. All right. So for those of you that don't have an Oracle account, you need to create it if you like to log in to the tenancy. I will end poll right now. Okay, Christy, you may continue.
All right, so shall we?
I think it's better for you to, yeah. Let's show them again.
Okay, so I will sign out of this, and I will close this window. All right, so this will be the main page after you reserve the workshop. Let's see if we get back. It doesn't let me get back. Okay. Okay, so if you reserve the workshop, you will have under my reservation, you will have this environment available. If it has the status available, you'll just be able to click on launch workshop and it will open this page where you have all the details that we'll need in order to start this labs. If not, you have, I believe my colleague Tom shared with you the link to this event, and you'll just need to go ahead there and reserve this and either run on your tenancy or running on the LiveLabs sandbox. After you have this prepared, so here under my reservation, if this is it has the status available, just click on launch workshop. All right, you'll have those workshop details. You will need this this password for the first time when you sign in. I already did that. You need to use it, and then it will require for you to add a new password. So it will not work using the same one. You need to add a different one. this is very important to know, and this one. We will get back to those two in a few moments. Then click on Launch Console, or for those who are running on the same tenancy, just go to cloud.oracle.com, right? You'll basically encounter the same page. This will be auto-filled for you if you click on Launch Console from the LiveLabs sandbox. If not, you'll just need to enter the name of your Oracle tenant. This will not be your email address, it will be the name of your, let's say, environment. Then you have here for LiveLabs sandbox, you have the direct sign in. In my case, I already did it, but you will need to add the password from here. Make sure you copy it like this. This button will not work. Make sure you don't have any space. As you can see here, it will take a space character at the end. Then just go ahead and reset the password, and hopefully you will reach this this dashboard. Okay, you have the option, if you scroll down, you'll have the option to see the instructions here, which I have on the right side of my screen. You can either open this in a new tab, or you can scroll for them here. For me, it was easier to open it in a new tab. Okay, and if you open it in a new tab, you will at any point in time be able to get back and check this documentation and try it for yourself on your own tenancy, since this the sandbox will only be available for a few hours just for the purpose of doing this labs. You'll have here the time remaining for the workshop. Right, moving on. Here's the Oracle Cloud infrastructure dashboard. This is the console. Make sure you are on the region that it says here on the workshop details, for those of you who are running the LiveLabs sandbox. If not, just stay on your home region. It will be perfect. We will go ahead and click on the hamburger menu on the left side. Here we are able to see a lot of categories of services. And if you click on each one, you'll see a lot of details, a lot of services. This can also, if you click on any of the services, you can go ahead and then switch to the documentation for that one. You'll have this learn more link here, or whenever you create something, you'll have this help button, which will take you to the documentation for that specific service. Okay. We will need to do for the first lab, we will need to go to the compute service, and we will need to click on the instances. So in order to create our first virtual machine, which we'll do today, we will go ahead here in the list scope and make sure that for those of you who are in the LiveLabs sandbox, make sure that the compartment contains your username. The username can be checked here. If you click on the right side on profile, you'll see the number, the name of your user that you're logged in with. So in my case is 23343, which the compartment will be associated with. Okay, then we just click on create instance. Let's give it a name. It will be like demo LiveLabs. Okay, here it will ask us again if we want to do this in this compartment. If any of you signed in on your own tenancy, you'll be able to do this in a compartment of your choice. So it's up to you. I would recommend to create a demo compartment before, and then create these labs there. Okay, Now, before we go to the next step, we will open the first lab on the right side. You will need to take to copy some commands from this one in order to generate an SSH key, a pair of SSH keys within our Cloud Shell, which we'll use in order to connect to this compute instance. All right, so if you click on this button here, you will open the Cloud Shell on the same window. Okay, this Cloud Shell is basically a Linux-based machine, browser-based, of course, which will help you to connect to your environment very quickly and on the fly, right? So you don't need to install anything on your device. Okay, so first command, you can either copy it from here, or you can type it. Okay, would be to create a directory within our Cloud Shell root storage. Then we will navigate to that directory where we will generate the pair of keys that we need in order to connect to the compute instance. Okay, so we will need to enter a passphrase. I don't need a passphrase for this workshop. I would suggest you to do the same. If you are on your own tenancy and you have a pair of keys that you use for yourself, you can use those. There's no need to create another one now. But it's cool to see that you have the option to do this within your own tenancy without using any other application or third-party application. Okay, this will be this will be the key that we created. Let's do an ls and examine the files that we created. Now we will just need to go ahead and copy the contents from the public key with this cat command. Okay, if you change the name of the SSH key, make sure you use the same. Okay, after doing this command, please go ahead and copy it. Copy the public key. We will need to go ahead and we can minimize this for now. We will use it later on when we connect to the machine instance. If you scroll down to the add SSH keys part, you can go ahead and click on paste public keys and paste the key that you just generated. Okay, then we will go back to the beginning. If we don't have any polls here, Violeta?
A poll for the keys creation. So let me just launch it and see if all of us followed you. So you are done with the keys, Christy, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, so guys, let us know if you're able to generate the pair of keys using Oracle Cloud Shell. And of course, one more time, if you have any technical issues, just let us know via chat or Q&A. So we'll try to help you during the workshop. All right, I see some of you did, some of you didn't. So Christy, maybe you can, I don't know, emphasize again what we need to do in order to generate the keys.
Okay, sure. Okay, so this first lab is very simple. You will just need to go ahead and copy the instructions that you have here on the right side into a Cloud Shell. Okay, I'm gonna leave this open. The Cloud Shell console can be found on this button here. If you click on it, this window will appear, and here you'll just need to add the commands that you have here on the right side. Okay, very simple. Each command, each by each, let's say, and then you will need to copy the content of the public key, and with the public key you will need to paste it here in the add SSH keys in the compute instance menu. Okay, you just need to paste it here, and then you will go to the first part. We will minimize this for now. Hopefully you are all with me on the same step. We will go ahead and change the shape of our virtual machine. This image will be the software that the OS that we will use for our compute instance, and here it will be like the hardware part of our virtual machine, which means the OCPU and the memory, as well as the network bandwidth. So click on the change shape. As you can see, we have various options here. For those of you who run this on your own tenancy, you'll be able to use the E4Flex, which is a great shape. But for the LiveLabs, for the sandbox, you will need to go with specialty and previous generation, and then we will go ahead with Intel 2.1. Okay, so the E4Flex with one core OCPU, 16 gigabytes of memory, it should be under $1 per month if you use it 24/7. For those of you who are running this on their own tenancy. Okay, we go ahead and we select the VM standard 2.1 from the specialty and previous generation. We make sure here that the instance type is the virtual machine, and we just click on select shape. All right, on the right side in the instructions for the next lab, you will see the virtual cloud network laboratory, which for the LiveLabs sandbox you don't need to worry about. The networking components are already created for you, but for those of you who would like to find more about the networking parts, or for those of you who run this on your own tenancy, the task in order to create a VCN are explained here. For this purpose, for this labs, if you did not log into Sandbox, you will have to click here on create new virtual cloud network. Okay, make sure that you select the compartment in the same compartment that you use for the virtual machine. You just give it a name here for the VCN, for the mother network, let's say. Then you have the subnet, the type of subnet, which will be a public one in order to connect to it. This will be like a really cool trick in order to create the networking components on the fly. So it will also create an internet gateway for you to connect to that instance machine. Okay, a CDR block for that subnet, which will be contained into the virtual cloud network, into the CDR of the virtual cloud network. Okay, so we can leave it as such if you run this on your own tenancy. If not, just leave the default, which should be fine. Okay, so you can go ahead to step 3, to task 2. because this part, if you already pasted the public key, you just need to go ahead and click on create. And we would have finished at this point the lab 1, lab 2, and the task 1 from lab 3. We are waiting for this to provision, and we will go ahead with task 2, which will be the way to connect to our virtual machine. Okay, you have also a color code here for basically all of the resources in Oracle Cloud. If it's orange or this, I think it's orange, it means that it is still processing, it is provisioning. Okay, it is still not running, or it did not finish the process. Green will always mean that there's no issue, it's running, it's all is good. You also have red if you encounter an error, or that you have something that is terminated. Okay. Do we have any polls here, or after we connect to the machine, Violeta?
Right after you connect to the machine, we're gonna run the poll. Thanks.
Perfect. So hopefully you are all on the same step with me. We will need to maximize the Cloud Shell that we used earlier, and we will just need to add the will not maximize, but at least make it big enough in order to see the public IP address from here and the username. So you have here the command in order to connect to the virtual machine. We will use SSH -i. We will have to enter here the name of the private key. Again, if you use your own private key, make sure you add the name of that one. Okay, then we have the name, the username of the virtual machine, which we'll find here, which will always be OPC for Oracle Linux. Okay. Then we just need to put the public IP address and connect. Then we will have a prompt here where we will need to say yes, and voila, here we have the confirmation that we connected to our machine. Okay, and that it works. Okay, let's run the poll, the progress here.
Yeah.
And if needed, we will get back to those steps.
Sure. So guys, let us know if you were able to create the compute instance and if you are connected to it already, as Christian showed you. If not, we can show you again, of course. Or if you have any issues, just let us know. We are here to help. So I will leave you a few seconds to 1 minute to provide your answers, and then we will move on. All right. So I think we can move on, Christy. You can show the next labs. Thanks a lot for the answers.
All right, perfect. So again, do not close this this Cloud Shell window, because we will need to use it for our next labs, where we will actually create a block volume, and we will attach it to our compute instance that we just created. Okay, so the block volume uses the iSCSI port. This means that you can attach it to a virtual machine and increase the storage. You will need to go to the storage on the left side in the hamburger menu, then reach the block volumes. Also, make sure here that you are selecting the same compartment, as well as if you have a region, if you run this on your own tenancy, if you have multiple availability domains in that region, make sure that you'll select the same availability domain with the compute instance. Otherwise, it will not work. All right. You just need to click on create block volume here. We will give it a name. Let's see if we have. Okay, so the name for the sandbox will be the first part, the username, and the block volume. Okay, in case you're running this on your own tenant, just put the block volume LiveLabs. Again, we make sure that we are in the correct compartment. Since we only have one availability domain in Toronto, we don't need to worry about that one. In the volume size and performance, we will need to go ahead and click on custom. We will choose the minimum size for this since is just for education purposes. Here we have the target volume performance, and it will be very good to know that you have the option to go with ultra high performance, and it will increase the IOPS considerably, as well as the throughput. We will use the balance for now. You also have like a lower cost with 100 IOPS, which will be like for low cost purposes, maybe for archive. I don't know if you have some data that you don't use, but you have another option for data that you want to retain for longer periods of time, and it is cheaper as well, which we'll get into the next lab. All right, we leave this on 50 gigabytes and the balanced volume performance. Then we have here backup policies. We have 3 backup policies, which are Oracle defined policies. We have the gold policy, which we'll use for this. Basically, the difference between those 3 you will see by selecting each of those. But the main difference is that the gold will use daily incremental backups at midnight, the silver will use weekly, and the bronze will use monthly. Okay, there are other differences as well, but you can go ahead and check them for yourselves. We don't need the cross-region replication. And for the encryption, we're going to use the Oracle managed keys. If you want to use like a different customer managed keys, that is up to you if you're running this on your own tenants. Then just click on create block volume. It will provision in a few seconds. And after that, we will go ahead and attach this to our virtual machine. Okay, so we have this available now. We will need to go to attached instances and click on attach to instance. Again, like I said, the attachment type can either be iSCSI or paravirtualized. We're going to use the iSCSI one. The type of access that you want for your storage, and here in this menu we are able to select the instance that we created in the previous lab. If all worked well on your end as well, you will see the only option here, the virtual machine. All right, for the device path, make sure that you use Oracle VDB, so we know where to look on the next task where we're going to attach this block volume to the instance and also format the disk. Right, make sure you selected all of this, the device path, and click on attach. Okay, you're going to have a pop-up here. Once the volume is attached, you need to run the block volumes iSCSI commands. Those are the commands in order to attach the storage. So it's not attached even if you like click on attach to instance. So your job will not be finished here. You still need to log into the compute instance, and hopefully you are still connected. It will be easier for you. Otherwise, you'll need to connect to the virtual machine again and run the commands in the commands that I will show you in a second. All right, you also have the steps here on the right. I think you need to open them as well. Okay, so we are on task 2. Because we will need to copy some commands from this, and I would suggest to also open them on your side. Okay, let's do a refresh here. See if we have this attached. Okay, so it is attached now. If it's finished on your side as well, you just need to click on these 3 dots here. And click on iSCSI commands and information. Okay, from this part, we will need for now the attach commands, and later if you need, you can use the detach commands in order to delete the connection. Okay, so this is very simple. You just need to click on copy. You need to go then on the Cloud Shell where you connected to the compute instance, or in if any of you connected from like CMD or PuTTY or any third application, you need to go ahead and copy them there. Sorry. Okay, so the attachment is successful. You can go ahead and close this little window here. Now, for the next step, we will need to format the disk and mount it on our virtual machine's storage. Okay, and this is very simple. You will just need to copy the commands from the step 7 in our task 2 lab 4. Okay, we will go with the first command, and we'll add it here. Okay, it is with VD star in case you selected other path there. So in our case, it will be the VDB. It will be this one. Okay, now we will format the disk in our path on the VDB, as you can see here. If you selected any other path, make sure that you also modify it here. Okay, we will wait for it to finish. When prompted, press yes. Then wait for it to finish. Okay, in some cases it will not prompt you; it will do it by itself, as we already saw here. Okay, then the next command it is to make a directory for our, let's say, partition, which will name disk 1. And in this with this partition, we will mount our newly created and formatted storage. Okay, then with df-h, we will be able to check the details for our newly created partition. will maximize this, and if you take a look here on the path that we made sure it is our disk, we have 49 gigabytes. Of course, the remaining gigabyte it is reserved for other processes in the background, and you can see 1% use, which would be that let's say background process that it needs for it in order to run. Okay, the available storage as well here, and the used one. Okay, do we need to run another progress here, another poll?
Yeah, let's run another poll. So bear with me for 1 second to launch the question. Okay, so guys, let us know if you created the block volume and if you were able to attach it to the instance, of course.
Yeah, this would have been the task 2 of our lab 4.
Yeah.
We will have one short lab remaining, and I hope you all are on the same page.
So again, if you have any questions or if you encounter any technical issues in those labs, just let us know. Okay, you may continue, Christy. Thank you.
Right, thank you. So we will go ahead and exit the Cloud Shell, as we will not need it for our next step. You can go ahead and switch to task 1 in our lab 5, which will be to create an object storage bucket. So we will go here again on the hamburger menu. We will click on the storage, and we will click now on the object storage and archive storage. So the object storage and archive storage. The object storage is mainly used for hard storage, so data that you used on let's say on a daily basis or very frequently. And the archive storage, you use this mainly for audit purposes. So data that you want to retain for a couple of years, that you don't need to worry about, that you don't want to use too many credits for, but you will need it for audit purposes or other purposes, which would be called the cold storage. We will use we will create a bucket with our own terms, let's say, and we will upload a file there that we can access publicly and that we can share with other people with a simple link, with a simple URL. So go ahead on the object storage and archive storage in the hamburger menu, click on buckets, then go ahead and click on create bucket. Here we will give a name for the bucket. Let's go with object bucket. We make sure that we select the standard type here in the default storage. If you want to use another type of encryption, you can do this here. We're going to use the Oracle Managed Keys, and then you just click on create. Make sure that you are on the compartment of your user. Okay, then we go ahead in the object bucket, and if you go here in task 2, you will need to download this file to your local PC. It is a simple text, which if you click on it, you'll see the text as well. Basically, there are some variables for a Kubernetes cluster. It is just a simple file. So if you go ahead and right click on it and go with save as, you can save this locally on your machine. I will save it on my desktop for now. Then we will switch back to our OCI window. And here we will click on upload button. You can either drop that sample file directly here, or you can go ahead and browse for it where you downloaded. I did it on my desktop, so I'm gonna just navigate there and select it. Click on open. I can also put here like a name, a prefix for this object name. So we're gonna go with let's say a sample file for demo, and just click on upload. Okay, after it is uploaded, you will need to go ahead and click on this on those three buttons here and click on create pre-authenticated request in order to modify the options that that we need in order to share this with other people or with other resources. Okay, make sure that you, by default it should be the same, so it should not be an issue, but make sure that you select the object. The access type will be the permit object tree, so they will not be able to write or anything else. You also have an expiration date here. You can leave it as such, and you can just click on create pre-authenticated request. You can change the name here, but I would suggest to leave it as it is. It will then give you a URL here, which will not be shown again. So make sure that you copy it now. And if you paste this in another window, you will see that it will show us the sample file that we uploaded. And we can share this with anyone else. They will only be able to access this with the URL that you share with them. Okay, and voila, that's it. That will be the last labs for our event today. Let's run another poll here, Violeta.
Yeah.
And then let's go ahead with the
hopefully
questions.
Yeah, all of us finished the labs exercises. So just let us know if you are able to upload the object and create the pre-authenticated link as Christian just showed you. Okay, and this is the last poll that we have for today. And then we can move on with the useful resources part. And of course, we will take some questions if you have, of course.
Violeta, Christian, one thing I would add, as somebody's gone through this a few times, there's enough information in these labs. It's worth doing a few of them again and again to familiarize yourself, because there's some steps when you create your tenancy, probably wouldn't use them that regularly. So practicing them a couple of times is not a bad idea. Particularly that one, for instance, Christian, you just did about uploading sharing a file. If you ever need to do that with somebody in your org or indeed somebody outside, it's a really easy, simple way of doing it. So, but again, because you wouldn't be doing it that often, it's good to familiarize yourself with it. So use that document that Christian is sharing on the right-hand side of the screen. There's a lot of really good information in that. And I would try some of those labs a couple of times just to really familiarize yourself with it. Thanks.
Thanks, Tom. So as Tom mentioned, you can still play with the event page that we created for you by tomorrow, end of business day. So you have the option to familiarize with everything we did today. Thank you very much for your answers. I see some of you finished the labs, some of you didn't. So in case you have any questions, now it's time to address. And meanwhile, I will like to share my screen now and mention some of the useful resources that you guys can use. So first one is our page. And I already shared the link through the next live event that we have tomorrow at same hour, 11 a.m. If you like to learn more about Oracle Analytics Cloud Service, you are invited to register. All right, so sorry guys. Okay, so and we've added for you some other useful resources with links. Some of you already shared with you, some we didn't. So we have a link pointing you to the free OCI certification page. If you like to have a look on it, you have it on your hand. And some other useful links with short videos for helping you a lot if you like to learn in a short period of time of cloud essentials, basics, or I don't know, on any other topics like security, cloud quotas, how to increase service limits, cost estimator, and many, many more in a short period of time. You are invited to access these links and some more on the getting started page. A lot of information that might help you if you're a beginner in OCI. All right. Don't forget about the Slack channel that we have in place, so you can always go there, engage with our cloud experts in case you have any questions. Put them on Slack, and we will be happy to answer. And of course, if you have questions now, you can submit them live. Christy, anything you would like to add?
Yes, thank you all for attending today and following me through those 5 labs, and hopefully you will have a great day, a great rest of the day.